In order, will you please stand and join me in the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. As the consent agenda in front of us, assuming everybody's had a chance to review it.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda. Second.
Will we discuss some of this misting among Castro? Is that the one we were going to discuss?
There was conversation about discussing it in a study session. But no one from the jail was able to attend this morning to speak on that behalf. They all had some training that was required and they had contractors coming in to do the training, so they weren't.
Do we want to do that or not?
I think Heather was going to speak to it.
Do you want me to go get Heather?
I don't know. I just saw her letter. I mean, that's what, if she's gonna come in and read off her letter, I can read her letter.
Well, we put it on the consent agenda for hiring the new nurse and then into received and filed for making the salary adjustment. If we want to discuss it, we can pull it out, but then we can act on it.
For the Tim guy,
Yes,
we're gonna do. Tim's gonna go to 4157, is that right?
yes, the same starting salary.
And Christie's gonna go to 4261. I guess I'm okay with it.
Did you say Christie or Misty?
Well, I'm sorry.
We're not
It says
making
Christie Chastity.
One's under the consent
Misty
agenda.
Costello.
Who's she replacing?
She's a new hire that they've been trying to fill that position for 7 months.
So they're gonna have 6 now?
When I
I thought
talked,
somebody was leaving. Sorry.
If I recall, we made, we talked about field nurses, I don't know, 6
did, but
months ago.
A new hire, one staff.
You
we
want
give them
under
authority to hire
consent
2
agenda,
more,
the
right?
other one.
They're up to 6.
I think maybe.
Pardon?
I think so.
Okay. Okay. I'm ready for the vote.
all those in favor of the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you. Scheduled sessions, Marilyn Kennedy, Election Manager, Auditor's Office, canvass of second tier public measures. Morning, Marilyn.
Good morning.
Going.
Plug and away.
Motion to approve second tier public measures.
What these are,
Is there
are,
a second? Thank you.
these are all of the abstracts and canvases that come from the other counties that we shared Iowa Western and Mills County that we shared Lewis Central with. So the results are all there if you want to look at them behind the page. Iowa Western was the one that didn't pass and the Lewis Central one did.
Both by a very small margin.
Lewis Central lost by 436 votes.
One, Lewis Central one.
I mean,
Western.
Iowa Western, 60%, and this one, Lewis Central, I think was 79,
Votes.
if my math was right, which I'm not,
Check,
you know,
recheck, check again.
who would like to start?
Okay, so what we have is
This
this
one
one
is
page to
Western.
sign and we
Just the
just,
one page.
Start mulling up.
and we just. Okay, do we have a motion by Belt and a second by Jorgensen? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion is carried. Okay, now we can sign them.
And I did not make copies of this because there is still some to be added. Election was roughly 158,000. We still have site support that we have, that's ES&SB in here, and a couple of poll workers that we're waiting on their W-9s, W-2s, I'm not sure what we're waiting on, but I don't know if you want to look at them.
So it's about 160,000.
Yes,
For a county?
Yeah.
But we only had 93.
What's that?
No, talking about costs.
The cost is 160,000.
oh,
Cost. I thought you were saying votes. I was going, wow. How many dead people did we get to vote?
Marilyn, where are we at with the names that we had to draw out of that?
I have not finished, I've not gotten a hold of all of them. 3 of the people they called said they would accept that. I'm still trying to get phone numbers for some of them, so that may end up being letters. Do you know William Box from Rockford?
Who?
William Box,
Yeah.
he won on a write-in for Rockford Township. Can you get me a phone number for him? Well, you know what, I might have had a phone number for him. I didn't have a phone number for Joe Chapman and Keg Creek.
Well, it should be, you should
And
be
then
able
there
to call the farm service out there and stuff, and
Oh, okay.
they should be able to get you a phone number for those guys.
And then, the other one person in Center Township declined.
So we gotta draw again there.
Nope, it's just a vacancy. There's no second vote getter.
If somebody comes up, they can take it.
Evidently, I called the clerk and.
You might find that you might find the phone number in the, plat book.
Oh, okay.
There's still a few phone numbers in there. Even some guys have put their cell phone. Remember when we had phone books?
But if you call from the auditor's office, they'll think they're gonna get money.
Some people won't answer because it says
Oh, no,
Potawatomi
they think
County.
the money come from the auditor's office and treasurer's office, they don't answer. If you know, the treasurer's sending them a bill.
Excuse?
Yep,
All right.
thank you.
Marilyn, thank you for all your help with that
Yeah.
election.
Done a
Well-
good job.
Thank you. We got some hiccups. We'll work on it.
I understand that 163,000 for the cost of the election.
Yeah,
Yeah, the cities, schools will pay part of that for their portion of the election, North Central, Underwood, Iowa Western. So it'll be the next question is, how much should we charge them? Do you think they're gonna get it done for free? That it was real, it was. They didn't do us any good by letting, put, school bond issues on the general election, it just really confused. Been a little more balanced styles.
The record votes for this year, any future bond issues will have to be passed by that additional.
Oh.
Margin,
if
won't
they
they?
have,
no, they got passed by
That will
60.
affect petitions. That the number of the voters this year will affect the number, percentage of petitions, signatures on a petition, but it won't affect the 60%.
Okay.
I was happy to see everybody voted. I know, but
Yeah, but there's a lot.
a lot.
67%. 7.5, I think.
All right, moving on. Doug Reed, Director, Emergency Management Agency, discussion and or decision to approve board chairperson to sign validation of correct points of contact for public assistance recovery. Good morning, Doug. Thanks for coming in.
Just a little, formality. We need to, just align some of the county departments to get the best bang for our buck on the federal recovery side of the house. There's a minimum project threshold by category of $3,900. Got some departments that have some support costs or things like that between the various disasters that would be under that. So it wouldn't be eligible if they apply on their own as a department individually, but if we do a general application under the county, then we can just add them with multiple departments under that particular FEMA recovery category. This would impact any county department that's got costs to recover under any of the 3 disasters except for the roads department. they're on their own. They're good. They've got their numbers, they've got enough expenses, and it won't have an impact either way. Since they deal with different pots of money and stuff too, it's a lot cleaner that way for now.
Okay,
On a smaller one, it might be a consideration, but since we've got so many, it's just as good to leave them separate right now, so. So what you have in front of you is placing, Mitch, as the primary point of contact to kind of be the, official in courthouse kind of, collector of the goods as needed and primary point of contact. For a program delivery manager from FEMA, the current chair is the signing authority for anything that might need to be signed, which usually isn't anything. Doesn't have to be done because it's all electronic now.
Sorry, I just had to process the
Myself.
Is it new? Okay, that's okay.
Myself as an alternate point of contact, just in case they have trouble getting a hold of anybody. And then a list of the, departmental representatives that the, program delivery manager can contact for department-specific information and data.
So what was the total of all these departments?
What's that?
What's your total on all these departments?
The total?
Yeah,
The totals I have aren't anything different than what we had when we had that, from my presentation out in Oakland, when we were out there for that community deal. Just because as time goes on and departments find other stuff or report things, even, to risk on damages to vehicles or buildings or things like that. All my initial data is all the preliminary stuff. So I'm sure there's a little bit more, but it fluctuates, and it's gonna fluctuate again as FEMA is now in to say, yeah, that qualifies, or that necessarily doesn't qualify, and those kind of things. But hopefully, the next step will be get just some initial calls, to get everybody on the loop, get FEMA engaged, and then that meeting will set up one where we all get together and start going over the finalized costs that have been calculated by each of the departments.
Doug, how long will they have to turn stuff in?
From the day we have what they call the recovery scoping meeting, it will be a 60-day window.
I'll make a motion to approve this.
we're on the hook for, they're on the hook for 75%.
75% local match is 25%. However, we're enhanced planning state and an enhanced planning county with an approved plan, so the state will kick in 10% of that. So we'll be
So we're on the hook for 15% per se, but we don't know what 15% of what.
no, not yet. So we get not until we get to obligations through project approval.
Yeah, well, as soon as we can get a ballpark number on that, we appreciate it.
We'll do.
Second,
Motion by Shay, second by Belt to approve the form. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you, Doug.
Uh-huh.
Thanks for coming in, Doug.
All right, John Rasmussen,
how much rain we
engineer,
get, Doug?
and
Is that
How much rain did we get?
not enough?
Not enough, okay.
I haven't heard a whole lot.
Inch and a half, inch and a quarter.
That 1 3/4.
all right, John Rasmussen, engineer, and Tina Trentos, secondary roads, discussion and or decision to approve and sign project plans for L-WS 31-73-78 and set bid opening for 10 a.m. on December 10th, 2024.
Motion to approve.
Second,
Is that you, Scott, or Tim?
Yeah. Brian had the motion, Scott was the second.
Just some discussion on that. We bought the materials and bid those materials. Our plan was to do this without a public letting, but it was over our threshold, so now we have to slow down and have a public letting on it. We do 100-foot bridges, single span, fit underneath our threshold. This is a 3-span, so we have some extra work with the piers and the extra length, and didn't work out for us. So we're gonna let the project be built. We'll furnish the materials that we've already bid, so This is for that truss bridge. We have 7 or 8 of those we need to resolve yet in the county.
How old is this bridge?
Under report is probably the late 40s, early 50s.
You could call it historic.
No, it's not.
It looks just like the bridge I was telling you about in Tennessee, except it's got a deck on it.
It's got a full deck.
Yeah, it's got a full deck, yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna replace that, and once that's done, we're gonna kind of review our process and come up with a plan to let those other bridges. So we hope to knock out 2 of these a year that we're got them out of our system.
John, did the state design this?
No, Brandon's design there.
It is? Who's Wheeler?
Wheeler's they furnish the wood deck. So yeah, they have the design portion of the wood deck.
Any state funds in this?
No, this will be all local.
Farm to market?
Farmer. Yeah, it's not on the barn market system. Barn market funds.
Your estimate's still 225? Is that what I saw?
I guess it's closer to 200, but yeah, 225, so.
Okay.
John, with the new bridge, will it go to Farm Market Road?
No, it will not.
Okay.
That system's already established. So this bridge, we had to, if you see a picture where it's kind of off the rocker, in the back, we had to rate it down to 3 ton, which doesn't carry a school bus. So it's kind of a pain right now in that area. So we're trying to hurry this along and been running into lots of roadblocks, but this should get us through winter construction. The materials are such that we should be able to do winter construction as well. So
Okay, good.
Do you have a completion date for this, John?
no, I don't. I'll have that after we get our bids back. And
All right, so we have a motion by Shane, a second by Bill to approve and sign the project plans for WS 31 and to set the bid opening for 10 a.m. on December 10th, 2024. Is there additional discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion is carried. Next, we have John Rasmussen, Engineer, Secondary Roads, discussion and or decision to approve and sign Resolution 66-2024 to establish a stop sign on Aspen Road at the 240th Street intersection.
So moved.
Second.
on that road, recently paved 240th and Dumfries there as part of that development project. It was an uncontrolled intersection now, and the drivers on the pavement just won't really have an expectation that they should yield to Aspen Road if they're southbound. So adding a stop sign to Aspen Road to make that flow more naturally, I guess.
Motion by Belt and a second by Jorgensen. Is there additional discussion? Melvin, will you call the roll, please?
Sure. Chairman Miller,
Aye.
Supervisors Belt,
Aye.
Wickman, Shea,
Aye.
Jorgensen.
Aye.
Great. Thank you, John. Next up, David Byer, Chief Information Officer, discussion and or decision to approve updated acceptable use policy number 804.
Did we go to,
Did I skip something?
yeah, Chase, Slack.
Sorry, let's backtrack. All right.
Is,
We'll go to Jason Slack, Director, Buildings and Grounds. Discussion and or decision to work with Snyder and Associates on a solution for the courthouse entrance. Good morning.
Well, it was brought to my attention by a couple of the board members and our safety director that that curb in front of our front entrance has become a safety hazard. We've had several people fall trying to go up or down that curb. We feel that it's time to, we need to do something to mitigate that. So I enlisted the help of Mike with Snyder and Associates to kind of help us engineer this parking lot, because it's not as simple as just putting a ramp out at the front entrance, because then we would have water pooling on that high side of that ramp. So we need to make sure that we have proper water drainage for snow, so that doesn't become a hazard as well. So, I have a proposal from Snyder and Associates for $6,750 to help us engineer the project. And, what we're talking about doing is just completely, removing that curb along that east side, right in front of the front entrance from crosswalk to crosswalk. And then building up that concrete in that right away out there and, making everything drained correctly. So that's kind of what we're proposing to do there. And add bollards in the front of that front entrance in kind of a semicircle pattern, just so somebody can't drive right up into the building.
So it'll all be sloped, there's no curb there.
All slope, no curb, correct, with bollards in front of.
What's your estimate on the project?
Haven't even got to that point.
Okay.
For construction, yeah.
Okay.
Free, we're gonna name the Ballards after him.
Jason,
It's gonna be free. We're gonna put Snyder on the Ballards, so it's some advertising.
they're gonna put Snyder Associates on the bollards.
Oh.
So you'll do it for free.
Might be conflict of interest there, I don't know.
Can we just, saw cut the curb and gutter out and then just float some concrete in there?
Yeah, go ahead, Mike. Yep.
Mike Geiger with Snyder and Associates, 231 Bennett Avenue, Council Bluffs. Yeah, what, we talked about that. I mean, you got brand new concrete out there and it would be a shame to tear that up and replace all of it. But certainly at the curb, cut the curb out and replace that. And there is a possibility to do a concrete overlay to a point, but as that tapers down and starts thinning out, then it doesn't function so well, so may have to grind out more wherever it ties in. But in between, we could do an overlay, not have to do a lot of concrete removal, and that would be a cost savings as well.
I just mean, take the curb out and there's a gutter on part of that out front. And then right in front of the courthouse, it wasn't poured like a curb and gutter normally would. Then you bring your pavement up to the gutter. Can't we saw cut that? And then just float some concrete from the sidewalk down to the existing concrete and not do any kind of an overlay?
Yeah, well, you have to maintain certain slopes for accessibility if we're making this now a pass-through lane. So for accessibility slopes, it can't be real steep. If I'm following you right, Tim, so you just wanna cut the curb out and put in a ramp, so to speak?
Yeah, float the concrete down to the existing driveway area.
Like, is it a 1%?
Can you put that?
Is that what it is?
Yeah, we're gonna have to go out longer. We got a 6-inch curb. So to taper from 6 inches out to 0 wherever we tie in and make sure that that slope is accessible slope. So,
Has to be 2%.
well,
What'd you say,
Yep.
Jason?
2%.
2% slope for handicap for ADA.
So we're doing it in between that complete curb in between where the 2 painted crosswalks are right now.
Yep.
So we have to tie into those are rammed to make that blend. So that's part of our cost, includes a pretty detailed topographic survey to understand what the grades are doing there, because everything is just sheet flowing to the south. It's relatively level east-west, and the sheet flows out to the south. So whatever we push out into that pavement, we don't want to impede any of the flows coming down from the north. So it'll be not just a simple ramp.
Floating concrete down where it gets thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner, that's never gonna work.
No. That's why I said we'd have to remove at some point. So at the curb and then wherever it ties in out in that existing driveway, we'd probably have to do some removal. In between, perhaps we can utilize what's there and just do an overlay.
Do we need to go from ramp to ramp, do you think?
I think so.
When we met out there, as we just kind of observed how pedestrian movements are going, nobody was using the crosswalks and the existing ADA ramps. Everybody was just coming from the parking lot and heading right for the stairs, going up to the courthouse. So even a woman in a walker came across and had to lift her walker up off the curb.
So on this, Tim,
The shortest route, people will think you can go
Right,
to Walmart and
right.
see how they walk to
we
the
just
store.
put a ramp down here. We'll have water that comes off of this. You know, pooling right here where that
Yeah,
ramp
like
is.
my parking spot over there.
So what we have to do is make sure that this whole grade flows and everything runs, because all the water runs from here all the way to the Fifth Avenue. That's the flow.
Put a tube under it. 4-inch tube.
Where's the high point in that?
The high point is up right here.
Like all the
Okay.
farmers spot, tile that thing.
But your recommendation is to go from the existing walkways,
Yep, between this point and this point.
the whole distance there.
Yep. And converts would go similar to this, like just a semicircle in front of this, so a vehicle can't drive straight into the doors. Into our lift or up the steps there.
Well, we need to do something. We need to do it right. That curb is a mess.
So Mike, what's your prediction on how long it'll take to engineer this and get it contracted and repaired?
As far as our services, probably a month to do the survey and design and plan preparation. I mean, it's a relatively small site, so it should be able to turn that around fairly quickly, working with Jason and his team. As far as getting it let and constructed yet this year, we're kind of running out of good construction weather, so maybe something to wait. We can discuss if we want to try to push it and get it done this year. You do have to be careful that the existing sidewalk has the in-pavement heating
Right.
system in it, so I hate to get it opened up and then run into weather issues, but again, it's not a huge project, so might be possible. The problem with trying to get a qualified contractor in to do it, most of the contractors are trying to finish up the work they already have, so to get somebody to take something on in an expedited manner could be difficult.
It's probably not gonna happen this winter, but yes, and
So Jason, you're working with Garfield to figure out what a winter solution is going to be.
If you had to design this again, how best would you do this?
Pardon me?
If you had to design this whole parking lot again, no curb at all, just walk right up to the steps?
Yeah, there's several different ways to approach. I mean, one of the things we even talked about was some landscape islands, if you will, between the drive lane and the sidewalk, but there's concern about maintenance and safety issues there. We talked about potentially just to put a railing along the top of
That's what I was wondering about.
to make people go around, but again, maintenance issues and snow clearing and things like that become a little bit problematic. And we're only 6 foot wide there for the longitudinal sidewalk area, so it's pretty tight already. Putting up any kind of a wall or railing is just gonna make that even feel a little bit tighter. In other words, if we were just right on top of the curb with something.
That'd be the quickest and easiest solution, I think.
Quickest and easiest and probably most inexpensive, but again, is that,
We haven't got to worry about the snow because it's heated, correct?
we had talked about putting like a brick wall, well, removing the curb and putting a brick wall, like a half wall up right there, just to make people have to use the two crosswalks.
What about just a railing, like we got going up the ramp?
Well, it'd probably have to be in the parking lot, if we got that.
We could put it right in the top of the curb. Drill it in. Put it right in the top of the curb, done. Then they have to come up those ramps. Be the least expensive and the quickest solution. Then it wouldn't mess with the heated sidewalk. And, they'd have to go down to the end of, I think we do a brick. I see maintenance, brick wall. I really think the galvanized railing would be the quickest, easiest.
We're putting ice melt and stuff around that. I'm just afraid that that wouldn't last very long.
We're gonna be dealing with that anyway.
I think when you look at a railing in front of a main entrance, when we talking about evacuation, if we have to evacuate people out of the courthouse, and if it's fire, if it's whatever the case may be, if we run it into a railing, we run it into another barrier to have people potentially getting injured or trying to get outside of the courthouse.
Garfield brings up a good point with, if we do that, it's an impediment now for direct access. If I have to check with fire marshal as well to make sure that that would work. Could be other issues along with that. So, you know, on the aesthetics of it, again, you asked if it were to be redone, what originally could have been done differently. Yeah, there's several different ways to approach it. But again, with that just being 6 foot wide there right now, and now you put up another barrier, it just makes it that much more constricting. Then also if that's your deliveries come through there, so that makes it a little bit more circuitous to have to use the crosswalks and then the sidewalk to get to the steps. So just the placement of the crosswalks doesn't work the best with how everybody's using it. Like I said, it's human nature going, well, there's the door and the stairs and I'm parked here, I'm gonna go straight across. So the ramp kind of solves a lot of different issues in one fell swoop.
But it creates an impediment to the drainage too.
Well, that's what we'd have to engineer around. Sure, it does, make sure it doesn't.
I really think the railing's the way to go myself.
Can you get to the driveway without going?
I
into
can't
the
hear
parking? No, I was just saying, put a barrier, in the parking lot. Under the,
Well, we got traffic flowing through there.
not where they park up to drive. Are there some curb stops there?
You know, the public has told us they aren't gonna use the crosswalks there where they're at. So we need to do something to make it more safe for them to be able to get into the courthouse. Whatever that is. I'm okay. What was the cost? What was the cost?
The cost for the letter form agreement with Snyder and Associates was $6,750.
I'll make that motion, please.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
6,007.
Jason, are we gonna put some barriers up there for the winter?
I'll work with Garfield. We'll figure out what was
Something
on.
across there like temporary railing or something with the
We'll have to check with fire marshal if we do that. Yeah.
temporary though. We ain't gonna do it till spring. It's worrisome. Okay, thank you.
Right, now we're moving to David Byer, Chief Information Officer, discussion and our decision to approve updated acceptable use policy number 804. And last Tuesday, after the board meeting, the policy committee met and they reviewed this employee handbook policy number 804. And in your packet, you've got the red line copy and you've also got the redacted version that's nice and clean. And David, is there anything you'd like to highlight what the changes are?
Sure. So this policy is what users, what staff members should or should not do with computer systems. So this is kind of a warning policy. The things that we changed are on page 2, the top there in number 3. Employees must immediately contact IT if they believe they have an open to suspicious or suspect email. So we can take action there. Yesterday we were in our HIPAA training. We talked about malicious emails and what that means and how important it is to take action as soon as we can. The other change is on the last page, item number 14. And this is a reference to AI. We wanted to get some policy out there on AI and how to not use it. The main concern that we have is that users would be uploading protected or private data to AI. Once you upload things to AI, you don't really ever get it back out. And so we just want to make sure people aren't putting CGIS or HIPAA or public health information or any of that sort of type of data into AI. Because once it gets in there, we can't get it out. And so we want to make sure people are aware of that. If this were to be approved, we would certainly do some education afterwards so that people understand what this means.
So that the only reference is in number 14 to AI then?
Correct.
It's becoming a big deal through the
Oh, well.
country.
Are you okay with this, David?
Yep.
I'll move that.
Second,
David,
So how do we dispense this out, this new policy to the employees? How's that done?
So it's an employee handbook policy, so we'd update that and then we would communicate that via all employee email, what it means, and then I think we'll do some sort of in-person training as well. Because I think that's we're ready for that, I think.
David, of the phishing emails that are sent to everybody in this county, how many of them are you blocking? What percentage? Ballpark,
I don't have the numbers in front of me, but we are blocking hundreds, over 1 million emails a month.
90% of them?
I would,
95?
it's probably more like 80%, something like that, but I'm guessing it's different every month too.
Are we still having some of them be opened?
We will always have some level of that.
Gives you
Andrew
things
does
to-
good with this fishing Fridays. Don't open stuff.
Yeah. That's the number one risk that we have is emails that have links in them that aren't from who we think they're from.
Yeah, the Dropbox one.
Did everybody get that one?
Yeah, I think
Oh,
they
yeah.
did.
Did you open it?
No, I sent it to Andrew.
Good.
That's the right thing to do. That's exactly the right thing to do. If you
Send it
don't
to him?
send it to him or open a ticket or,
Okay.
yeah, if you suspect, that's what this item number 3 is. Although that's if you click it, but still. Yeah, if you're unsure and it's an important email, but if it's an email that you aren't expecting, like you don't have a Dropbox account, just delete it and go about your day. I mean, that's, but if you do have a Dropbox account and you're suspicious about that, then yeah, open a ticket with IT and we'll do some vetting to see what's going on there. Let you know.
Good.
So we'll watch for educational opportunities.
Absolutely.
All right, so we have motion by Wickman, a second by Shay to approve the updated acceptable use policy number 804 of the employee handbook. All those in favor?
All right.
Aye. Opposed? Motion has carried.
Thanks, David.
Thank you. Any appointments? I attended HIPAA training, policy committee, MAPPA, RPA. Brian?
Done the HIPAA training yesterday. It's good. Maria done that. That was good. We canvassed the election last week. We all did. I done a video meet with this River Valley motorcycle playground with the DNR. Conservation, done a medical examiner meeting. And roads operation, I was out there yesterday, or last Thursday, I mean. One of the videos, so. That's good.
One with Ryan, I was at HIPAA. You were there. I was at HIPAA yesterday, and again, we were canvassing the election last
Wednesday.
All right, thanks, Jeff.
and I applaud your efforts. No, election.
It was, experience. And there was more stuff coming even after the election, because there was this text going out from what I understand from the parties, is asking people, do you know whether your ballot was counted or not? And I got call and email after email. How do I know my ballot was counted? Even these people that voted at the polls, they put their ballot in the 200, and then the screen comes up, says, thank you for voting. They're still wanting confirmation, documentation that it was counted. And I don't know if you want a receipt or even stickers. That's only God, but yeah, it was. And she's not done yet.
Tim? None?
Well, I had, policy committee. I had, FEMA. I had, HIPAA. I had FEMA again. And then I had the medical examiner. That was probably enough for me. I don't know about them, but it was for me. FEMA's way out of bounds, but that's a whole nother discussion.
Right. Public comments. Did anyone sign up for public comments? We're moving to a study session, discussion and or decision on introductory